This week, we have a heavyweight matchup with Niners flying into the steel curtain. I can already feel the aches and pains after this game. Get the ice baths ready. San Francisco 49ers versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. This is one of the better matchups this week. The Niners come into this season as one of the NFC favorites, while the Steelers, on the other hand, is a projected dark horse playoff team if second-year pro Kenny Pickett can take that next leap. As we dive into this game preview for this Week 1 matchup, stay tuned. We will be giving the panel's score prediction towards the end. In the first key matchup, we will break down the 49ers offense versus the Steelers defense. San Francisco is projected to go into the 2023 season with 3 quarterbacks, and if you ask me, they should add 3 more. San Francisco was one elbow injury away from making the Super Bowl last year after losing to the Philadelphia Eagles 31-7. This season, the Niners offense will be returning about 9 out of the 11 offensive starters from last season for Week 1. When you have an embarrassment of riches in offensive players, such as Christian McCaffrey, Deebo Samuels, Brandon Ayuk, George Kittle, and Trent Williams combined with Shanahan's play calling, this makes for a very dangerous recipe for the rest of the league. The head of this offense is Christian McCaffrey, who coming into this season is projected the #1 running back in the league. Last season, C-Mac had 244 carries for 1,139 yards and 8 touchdowns. He is going up against a Steelers defense that last season was ranked middle of the pack in run defense. It's surprising that the Steelers rank as low as they did last season in run defense, considering how well they statistically performed. Pro Football Focus gave the Steelers a 70 run grade defense out of 100, containing C-Mac will be objective #1 for the Steelers defense. That is where the 49ers offensive line comes into play, led by All-Pro Trent Williams, who is regarded as the best tackle in the NFL. Coming into this season, according to Sharp Football Analysis, the Niners offensive line is ranked 17th out of 32. A large part of this fall is due to losing right tackle Mike McGlinchey in NFL free agency. He's headed to the Broncos on a massive deal. The offensive line will be going up against the Steelers' front 7, who is led by All-Pro TJ Watt. Sharp Football Analysis has the Steelers' front 7 ranked 7th coming into the 2023 season. Cameron Hayward and Watt remain sensational players with the ability to change football games by themselves. Alex Highsmith, who led the team in sacks this past season, appears to be a star in the making. With 3/5 of the front in the hands of elite players, the group appears in great shape. However, the linebackers group for the Steelers is considerably one of the weakest groups in the NFL. This offseason there was a complete overhaul of the position group with signings Elandon Roberts, Cole Holcomb, Tanner Musa, and Nick Kwiatkowski to fill the void of Devin Bush, Jack and Robert Spillane. This battle in the trenches will certainly play a big part in determining the victor in this heavyweight matchup. Another question that the Steelers defense will have to answer is how to contain the two-headed monsters at wide receiver in Deebo Samuels and Brandon Ayuk. Deebo Samuel had 56 catches for 632 yards and scored 5 touchdowns in 13 games in 2022. A down season for Samuel last season as he oftentimes looked out of shape and lost a step. Deebo has vowed to come back into this season and have a bounce-back year. Brandon Ayuk had 78 catches for 1,015 yards and scored 8 touchdowns in 17 games in 2022. These two are one of the better wide receiver duos in the league who oftentimes get overlooked. You throw in George Kittle, who is the best blocking tight end in the league, as well as a great route runner for the tight end position, and you can see why San Fran has earned their top 10 spot in the NFL offense rankings for 2023. The Steelers' secondary has plenty of new faces for the 2023 season, with Cam Sutton, Arthur Mallett, Akello Witherspoon, and Terrell Edmonds out the door. The newcomers in Patrick Peterson, Joey Porter Jr., Chandon Sullivan, Corey Trace, and Keanu Neal have plenty of work to do in order to fully acclimate themselves. The new additions could lead to some coverage busts early on. That's where Minkah Fitzpatrick comes in. His performance last season earned him AFC Defensive Player of the Week. In the 2022 season, he finished with 96 total tackles, 56 solo, 6 interceptions, and 11 passes defended in 15 games and starts. He was named as a first-team All-Pro and earned Pro Bowl honors. He is the #1 safety heading into this upcoming season. The Steelers' offense last season was a roller coaster, which is what you should expect from an offense that was led by a rookie quarterback in Kenny Pickett. Pickett last season had a passer rating of 76.7 with 2,404 yards, 7 touchdowns, and 9 interceptions in 13 games in 2022. Pickett showed flashes of brilliance last season, and if he is able to make the second-year leap coming into this season with the weapons on this team, the Steelers can be a dangerous team. Unfortunately for Pickett, he is going up against the #1 defense heading into the 2023 season. Last season, the 49ers had the best defense in the NFL, with only 300.6 total yards allowed per game. On defense, San Francisco has been a top 5 unit ranking best by giving up only 16.3 points per game. The 49ers have a stacked starting defensive line with Nick Bosa, Huey Armstead, and one of the best defensive tackles in the league in Javon Hargrave. In order to hold off the pass rush of the 49ers, look for the Steelers to get the running game going. Hence comes Najee Harris. Harris had 272 carries for 1,034 yards and had scored 10 touchdowns in 17 games last season. The Steelers are expecting a lot from their former first-round pick back in 2021. They also have a pretty big decision to make next spring, whether or not to pick up Harris's 5th-year option with the club, making this upcoming season a pivotal one for both parties. Harris is coming off a pretty down year last season, but he is a solid pass protector who can be trusted to sort through protections and identify potential blitzers. Najee is projected to be better this season, especially behind that revamped offensive line. The Steelers added veteran guards Isaac Seumalo and Nate Herbig in free agency, and then traded up to number 14 overall to acquire left tackle Broderick Jones in the first round of the 2023 NFL Draft. Marking the second straight offseason, the Steelers went through a sizable overhaul along the offensive line. The Steelers unit will have their hands full going up against the #1 linebacker this season in Fred Warner. Warner didn't have a monster campaign in 2020-21 after being named a first-team All-Pro the year prior, but he certainly returned to form last season. The BIU product recorded 130 combined tackles, 2 sacks, a career-high 10 passes defended, and an interception this past season. Fred Warner regained his top spot amongst linebackers, as he is ranked the best linebacker coming into this season. Another linebacker on this Niners defense that often gets overlooked is Dre Greenlaw. Greenlaw is a top 10 linebacker in the league in his own right. Together, the 49ers linebackers are #1 in coverage with an 88.5 mark from the PFF experts, and are second overall against the run, finishing with a 90.7 grade for the year. To have any chance against the Niners defense, the Steelers' offensive playmakers will have to take a big step forward in 2023 if they don't want to be at the bottom of the league again. And it will have to start from the top and work its way down. The coaching staff, particularly coordinator Matt Canada, has to be better. The play calls last year seemed very repetitive and not very complex, but as Kenny Pickett grows, hopefully the playbook can expand too. The other big thing to look forward to is the potential strides made by George Pickett in year 2. If Pickett improves, the whole offense should also improve, and that includes the productivity of the wide receivers. Veteran receivers Deontay Johnson and Allen Robinson, and second-year star George Pickens. This trio could sneakily be one of the best groups in the league if the quarterback play improves. The wide receivers for the Steelers will be matched up against the Niners secondary, who returns Talanoa Hufanga and Tashawn Gibson at safety. They look to build on the chemistry they established in the 49ers secondary last season. The 49ers defense finished the regular season with 20 interceptions, tying the Pittsburgh Steelers for the most interceptions in the league. 10 of the team's takeaways came from the safety position, led by Gibson, who had a team-leading 5 interceptions. Second-year All-Pro safety Hufanga finished second with 4, and Odom also recorded interception. This secondary will look different after losing cornerback Emmanuel Mosley and defensive back Jimmy Ward this offseason. Let me know what your score predictions are in the comments section. The panel has San Fran 24-14 over the Pittsburgh Steelers. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe for more game previews every week. Stay tuned.